In this video, I'm going to show you that some of the configuration could be done on the vEdge devices, although this is not recommended at all, but this is possible. The whole point of using SD-WAN is to control everything centrally, but some of the things could be done if you have not applied templates to the devices on that device. This is one of the examples that I'm going to use. In this example, what I'm going to say is I have multiple customers, and my customers are in my different branches. And let's say that I have a customer which is called customer number 1, and it has a branch office in site number 2, or let's say in the vicinity of site number 2, and in another branch office in the vicinity of site number 3. And these two should be able to talk to each other. And I am not using any template or something. So what I'm going to do is to do the configuration. On vEdge, GE01 is connected to this customer number 1, and I'm going to create a VRF, or let's say a VPN, and I'm going to name it VPN number 1. So what I'm going to do is to go to vEdge device, and I'm going to go to configuration mode, and here I'm going to create VPN 1. As soon as I do that, I can assign an interface for that. I can assign, let's say, a DNS number. I can assign, let's say, a default route, and a lot of different things could be configured here. But something which is very important, if you just show run, and I'm going to say show run OMP, which is going to be overlay protocol, which we use in our SD-WAN, you can see that by default, anything that I configure is going to be advertised into OMP, which means that I do not really have to do anything about configuration of the protocol. And what I am going to do is just to create the VPN. So let's say the interface is going to be GE0/1, and I'm going to say no shot, and I will have an IP address of, let's say, 172.16.21.1/24 for this. And then I can just say commit. Okay, now that I have done this, I might want to have an adjacency with that router as well. So let's go to that router. First of all, I'm going to start router 21's interface. I'm going to say no, and I'm going to wait for this to load completely. And in this router, Ethernet 00 is connected to vEdge device. So let's wait for this to come up, and then I'm going to configure some stuff on that. So here, en configure terminal. The host name is going to be R21. Yes. And then I'm going to say interface E0/0, no shot. IP address is going to be 172.16.21.21. 255.255.255.0. On vEdge, I use 21.1. Here I have 21. And if I just try to ping vEdge device, 172.16.21.1, you can see that the ping goes through. And the thing is, that is because on this router I have no idea of the VRF which is configured on the vEdge device. So let's create an interface loopback 0. IP address is going to be 21.21.21.21, 255.255.255. And I'm going to have a routing protocol as well. This is possible to configure routing protocol on vEdge devices, specifically on VIPTELA edge devices. What I can do is to use OSPF and BGP. I'm going to go with OSPF, router OSPF 1. I'm going to say router ID is this 21.21.21.21. And I'm going to say network is this one, or let's say everything. Area 0. Now I'm going to save this configuration. The thing is, because I have configured everything using templates, configuring things using OSPF or using the CLI is going to be a little hard for me, and of course for everyone. But we are going to have this configuration under VPN, and if you just check here, you can see that I have OSPF configuration somewhere around here, which I'm going to show you. That is router, and under that you can see we have OSPF, and then we can say area. You see that there is no process ID or something here, but what I am having is area, and let's say this area is going to be 0. And after that, I can just select the type of area that I have. So router OSPF area 0, and under this I can assign different types of, let's say, configuration to this. But I guess I'm going to commit and see the result. Now that I have committed the configuration, I should be able to see an adjacency on the other side of the network. But I guess I have not assigned any interface for this, so I'm going to say interface G0/1 is going to be part of this, and I'm going to say commit. Okay, now the interface is assigned, and if I just go to R21, you can see that there is an adjacency in this neighborhood. So going back to vEdge device, if I say and I'm going to say show route, you can see that show IP route, of course. Now you can see that there are some routes which have been received through OSPF. Now the thing is, all these are going to be advertised into OMP because OMP is advertising OSPF inter-area routes by default, not external but inter-area. Again, show run OMP. You can see that, of course, this is just advertising connected and advertising static routes, but we can just configure this for advertising of OSPF. Okay, now I need to go to CH site here, and you can see that Ethernet Gigabit Ethernet 2 is connected to router 31, and I'm going to configure router 31 in a second, but let's do that right now. So on router 31, I'm going to say no and just wait for this to come up. And on CH site 3, of course, I need to go to configuration mode with going by config transaction. Okay, here what I'm going to do is to make sure that that interface G2 is under VRF1. Here I'm talking about VRF, not VPN. That's exactly the same thing actually, but the definition is going to be a little different here. I need to say VRF definition, and here you can see that CH devices are very, very slow in the CLI, but that's okay because we are going to go through GUI later, but I'm just showing you. So let's say this is number 1. You can go with a name, but number is the one that we need to do here. And under this, we have all the configuration that we need for this. Specifically, we have RD, which is very important, and we have route target, which is going to be very important as well. So I'm going to say RD is going to be 1:1, and of course you can have anything. Route target both is going to be 1:1, and again you can just select anything. Here it says that you need to go under address family to do this, so I need to do this. Address family is going to be IPv4 for now, and I'm going to say route target both is going to be 1:1, and that's the configuration that we have here. It says that both is not accepted. Okay, I have to go with import and export then. So you see that we have a little problem configuring this thing, and that is because I do not really configure these things through CLI. Okay, now that I have done this, I need to assign this to the interface. So I'm going to exit VRF configuration. And then I'm going to say interface Gigabit Ethernet 2. So that was gigabit Ethernet 2, right? Yes. Then I need to say VRF forwarding is going to be 1. And then I need to assign an IP address of 192.168, not 192, 172.16. This one was 31, 1, 255, 255, 255, 0. And finally, no shot, of course. Now I'm going to say commit, and later I'm going to configure some other things. Here it says that the configuration is successfully done. And now that I have done this, let's go back to R31. I'm going to say en configure terminal. Host name is going to be R31. I'm going to have interface Ethernet 00. No shot. IP address is going to be 172.16, 31, 31, 255, 255, 255, 0. And also interface loopback 0. IP address is going to be 31, 31, 31, 31 with 32 bits of net mask. And then I'm going to configure router OSPF 1. And router ID is going to be this. And also every interface is going to be under area 0. Okay, now that I have done this, I'm going to end and save everything, go back to CH site. Now configuring OSPF is not going to be a big problem here. What I'm going to say is router OSPF 1, and after that you should have a VRF configuration. VRF is going to be 1. So I'm using OSPF version 2 because my routers do not understand OSPF version 3. Or maybe because this is easier for me. And then I can configure router ID, but let's say that I'm not going to. What I'm trying to do is to have a network configuration of 0000, 0000, and everything should be under area 0. Because every interface which is under VRF1 is going to be included in this, and I have only one interface under VRF1, then everything should be okay. So now I'm going to commit, and after committing, I need to wait for the other side to see the adjacency, which is created right now. Now if I just say show IP route on the edge router, after some time I should see something interesting happen. Okay, so for now everything seems good, but what about information from the other branch of this company? I need to advertise everything into OMP, and configuration of OMP is going to be a little different than what we have seen so far. So let's go back to vEdge first. This is done before, so I'm going to here, and I'm going to say OMP, and under OMP all I need to do is to advertise OSPF. And you can see that I can just say advertise OSPF and also advertise OSPF external in case I have some external routes in this. But let's say that that is okay. And here it says that you need to go with advertise OSPF because default is OSPF just receives the routes here. So just to make sure that this is correct, and I do not really need to go with advertise OSPF. What I'm going to do is to go to vSmart. And on vSmart, I'm going to log in first of all. And after that, I'm going to say show route. Show, let's say if I have route here, which I don't, show OMP route actually. And here you can see that we have 21, 21, 21, 21, which means that without doing any kind of intervention, this is received by OMP. On CH site 3, I'm going to go to config transaction mode. And then I'm going to say router OMP. So here it says that router OMP is not accepted. What you need to do is to say SD-WAN, and under SD-WAN, now you have the configuration of OMP itself. So you can just say OMP, and after that you can just hit enter. Under OMP you can have different address families, and also you can just say advertise or stuff like that. I'm going to say address family IPv4, and under this I can just do some advertisements. So for now I'm going to say advertise connected. This is something which is default. I'm going to say advertise static. This is again by default. But I'm going to say advertise OSPF, and after OSPF I can just say external, which is not exactly my intent. So I'm just going to leave this here, and it says no modification to commit, because everything was a default configuration. But let's say that I'm going to exit this address family, and I'm going to say exit again and exit a SD-WAN configuration. I'm going to say router OSPF 1, and that would be VRF 1. Now under this I'm going to say redistribute, and redistribute is going to be for OMP, and you can see that I have a subnet option here, and then nothing more than that is necessary. Hit enter. I'm going to say commit, and whether this commit is going to go through or not, this is something that I need to wait for that. Okay, so I am advertising OMP, and if I just go to R31, I have just done this show IP route, and now you can see that I am receiving routes from the other side. What about on R21? Do I have anything here? So if I just go to IP, and this is that there is nothing here. I need to redistribute into OSPF here. So what I need to do is to go to configuration mode. If I just say do show run VRF VPN actually 1, and you can see that we have OSPF configuration under this. So what I'm going to do is to go to VPN 1 router OSPF. Then I'm going to say redistribute OMP, and that's it. Hit enter. I'm going to say commit. Now that I have committed, if I go to R21 and try the routes again, now I see routes from the other side. This means that if I try to ping, let's say 31, 31, 31, 31, the ping goes through. If I source it from my loopback 0, the ping goes through. So this means that we have this kind of a configuration that we can apply it. So once again, show run VPN 1, VPN, yes, show run VPN, oh, this is here. I needed to go to vEdge. So if I just say show run VPN 1, this is the configuration that we have. We had assigned this redistribution here. On cEdge, if I say show run and hit enter, now the configuration that we have now has an extra part, and that is under OSPF configuration, which is right here. You can see that it says router OMP, but under configuration we needed to type SD-WAN and then under that OMP. But you can see that we have under router OSPF redistribute OMP, although subnet is not applied here, but again we saw that everything is advertised. And also this default information originate, I guess this is not going to be necessary here. I can easily just remove this, or I can just keep it just for further configuration. So that is what I have as a configuration for the CLI, but in the next section I'm going to show you how you can go for templates, not CLI itself.